Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we are back again with another alliance war. This time it's actually a bit of a quickie because I just have my lane fights. I don't take too many fights this war, but in general, New Nation has decided to play through the pain. That is a decision, which is fine because I definitely know that not too many alliances so far seemingly have chose that in between the defensive tactic being extremely costly affair to deal with, and of course the fact that it's going through the holidays. So it's never been easier to forego a season and just kind of like play it casual. However, we have matched DSVG. Shout out to the guys in DSVG. Lots of great players in there, lots of friends of mine, lots of viewers of mine as well. And definitely wish them Merry Christmas and Happy New Year if I don't speak to them and if they don't watch any video till the New Year. So, this is going to be the second war. First war we kind of won by default because our opponents weren't playing. This time, however, DSVG is playing, and my team will be Kingpin, Hood, and Nimrod. So I'm going to be taking Path 9 in Section 1, and then Path 4 in Section 2. Don't really have to deal with much of tactic defense. So, that's probably going to be the war on easier side on me. However, I still do have some cool fights. I like them. So the video is being made. All right. So first up, I need to deal with this Wolverine Weapon X. So obviously we're going to be putting on all the boosts. I'm going to be putting on the attack boost. So that's the medium one, the medium health boost, and the big champion boost. That's pretty much the standard boosting way because it is extremely expensive to get the large attack boosts and large health boosts for whatever reason. But the champion boosts seem to be fine. And because we're dealing with Weapon X and things can kind of go awry, I'm using an indestructible 3 boost. Now, the key point with this fight in particular that I have learned is you do not necessarily want to be getting him unblockable and then trying to play around the hazard shift. That's kind of like the danger of this fight, and if you're inexperienced, it can definitely catch you, because if you don't kill him in the poison phase, then you're going to have to wait out the entire thing. He's super aggressive, you can get cornered, and just bad things may happen. At the same time, we can see here that I did drop a couple of heavy attacks during the Incinerate phase. I got very unlucky with both times Incinerate proccing, but the thought process was I'm going to push to my level 2 immediately and just nuke him straight up. This fight is always the best if you just kind of push through the pain, take some of those hazard shield debuffs, and get that level 2 gone straight away, because if you do deal with the unblockable and unstoppable, again, things can go wrong for sure. And next up we have Mantis. This is actually very, very, very good placement for Mantis in my opinion, because this power focus 1, and with Mantis in every fight you do not want her to use level 1. You just always want to push her at level 2. With power focus, it is not an easy thing to deal with, and you can not also really use your special attacks to push her at level 2 because of the indestructible 1 node. So what I opted doing in this fight is basically just hold the block entire time, do damage with my base hits, and then just don't use special attack till the very end, because I don't want to deal with indestructible 1. And for most part, we can see that I just push her to the first level 2, which is fine. I do a combo here. So she's already halfway down, because obviously Kingpin is doing a tremendous job absorbing damage and debuffs. And now she's at 20-some%. I probably could have thrown my level 3 there already, but I'm going for it now. And obviously with 6%, Kingpin's level 3 is going to finish the job. So this is perfectly smooth kind of fight where you just, again, you need to have a clear game plan for this fight. You need to know exactly what you're doing, and then the fight isn't too awful, unless she starts throwing level 1, in which case, things can go wrong. But that didn't happen, which is awesome, and we're also relatively healthy. And in Section 2, I have to deal with Hulk. Now, Hulk is actually much more dangerous defensive placement than people realize, because of when he's awakened, because that unstoppable can catch you. It will catch you at times, and if he goes from unstoppable into throwing a level 1, and that gets you stunned, that's basically an auto death. So it's not a hard fight, it's just a bit of dodgy fight, almost always. But Kingpin is a great, great matchup there, because even if he does catch me with the unstoppable and the level 1 stun, chances are I'm going to get that purified, immediately, and if not immediately, then as soon as he throws a couple of hits, because he will be putting physical vulnerabilities on me, which eventually Kingpin will purify for sure. Now, this entire fight, or most of this fight initially, Hulk is unblockable, so I do, bait out heavy attacks, a bit risque play there at times as well. Almost good caught on dashback, but we're fine, and because we are purifying, I can actually, get openings with my own unblockable as well. Now I have safely avoided the biggest danger of this fight, and now I can just move on to finish it out. Also, once he has entered his rage, obviously Kingpin gets kind of supercharged because I'm getting physical vulnerability debuffs on me constantly, and with that, I'm getting more and more overpower. So obviously Kingpin is a perfect matchup here. Man, I love using Kingpin in war. It always feels so safe. And next up, Null. Now, I have done this fight a whole bunch of times, and it's relatively fine. The start of this fight is a bit dodgy, because you do want to get him to a level 2, and he's starting unblockable in most cases. And I will actually get intercepted in this fight like twice. This fight gets significantly less dangerous as soon as you drop your first level 1, because then you do reduce his attack a whole bunch, and even if you do make a mistake, it's not, end of the world. And past this point, now here again, I got intercepted, but we do have the degen on, and I hardly felt that. And the rest of the fight, I'm just willpower healing pretty much throughout it. And whenever Null throws his level 2, basically he stops being unblockable, because Kingpin purifies all those debuffs, and he gets his overpower, and there are no 3 debuffs present. And you can see it again. I have the 7 debuffs, but as soon as he throws level 1, he stops being unblockable. So even if you cannot dex that level 2 of Null properly, which initially seemed like a bit harder than it actually was, Kingpin's still going to do great in this matchup. But, with a bit of practice, I'm not too worried about Null's level 2. And obviously the fight itself is very, very quick. And that was pretty much it for my contribution to the Alliance War, aside from moving to the final boss node, obviously. And that is it. So the war is currently still in progress. And, we can see that this war ain't going great for, either one of us. If this was the previous season war, this would be considered to be an awful war already, and neither one of the teams has fully cleared it already. Now, 9-6, it's typically kind of like a garbage Masters war. If you are an alliance that contests for top 10, dropping either 6 or 9, is a bad war. Now, keep in mind that we still haven't finished clearing, and it'll be interesting to see how low we can get the death numbers with, more experience and better planning and stuff like that. But there is absolutely no question that this Alliance War season is going to be more expensive for average player. Definitely, because of the block damage. Because even if you don't get KO'd, and that's kind of like the most frustrating part. If you die in Alliance War fight, yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, it costs a lot, and it's awful, and it sucks, but that happens every season. What makes this Alliance War tactic in general so much worse, based on what I have talked with people, is that even if you don't die, you just take so much block damage all the time, and it's going to be incredibly expensive to heal. This is like the definition of a system where you want to avoid. You don't want ever Alliance War tactic that basically brute forces you to be healing and potioning up after every other fight. Because the increased strain on the resources will also cause friction in Alliance, in my opinion. Because if somebody has to take somewhat harder fights, I got lucky this war, I got assigned relatively easy fights, I used only 1 potion. I have many teammates who are 10 plus items deep, just because of the nature of the fights, even if they didn't make the mistakes. And it will be definitely a very, very tricky job for officers to balance it all out. Or some players will just inevitably get, way, way, way more expensive Alliance War seasons than others. And that was the entire point they were trying to move away from, by the way. The entire design philosophy of this new map was that there is no single player that can take as many fights as before. So they have reduced the amount of total fights a single player can take with moving mini-boss at the end, separating them in the islands, and obviously going to the final boss. Now I believe the maximum fights you can do is 4 on your paths, 3 mini bosses initially, 2 mini bosses then, so that's like 5, that's 9, 10 fights. I think 10 fights is the maximum you can do. Previously it was like 12, 13, it was quite common when people did that. And yeah, no, again, I just don't like this design. Anyways, let me know how your war is going, and Merry Christmas to everybody. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about